widespread ownership and use of weapons by members of the society, which means the right to bear and keep arms, which actually is a premise of self-defense. It is agreed generally by security professionals that a well-armed citizenry secures a free state by protecting the nation and its individuals from basically three distinct threats. Number one, tyranny. Number two, external invasion. Number three, internal or domestic dangers such as crime and civil unrest. And this enables the people also to resist oppression. You know, in our situation in Nigeria, because the citizens are basically disarmed, those who are in power can do as they wish. There is no fear. So those who argue that society should be allowed to carry arms feel like if the people are empowered, oppression will be reduced. But those who argue against it believe that if you allow this thing to happen, there will be anarchy. Because there will be people who will have no sense, who will use these weapons without common sense, and there are those who will have them and take advantage of these weapons for robbery. And so there will be great confusion. But research has shown from the nations that have legalized the use of weapons that that is not necessarily true. That is a fear that is not founded. It has not been proved in any nation that when society is allowed to bear arms, anarchy results. But when this happens, there has to be the creation of appropriate doctrines that will manage the process. By the way, when we take arms from the people, the government is saying we believe in collective protection, collective security. And to have our Nigerian constitution supports collective security. And to have collective security, government must prove to the people that they are responsible for security. But as it is going in Nigeria today, you know that it has not been very true. Our people have been exposed to all kinds of risks and danger. So asking me whether I would support that view or not, I would tell you that it will all depend on the temperature of the society. And laws are created to manage public opinion and the temperature of society. We are getting there gradually. Nigeria may not yet be there where everybody will be allowed to be
village with your two eyes closed. Dr. Miwazi Dandara, all of these mechanism has failed because we are still dealing with insecurity despite the huge investment in human capacity in getting weapons and all of that. Are we looking at the wrong direction with the issue of looking for solution to the insecurity in this country?
Definitely, if you have been trying 10 different approaches and all those approaches have failed, then something is not right. And my pain is that the Nigerian government does not seem to recognize professionalism. And we have militarized everything. But I'm telling you now that what Nigeria is going through is what conflict professionals will call wicked conflict. A wicked conflict is a conflict that you cannot very easily design intervention for, because all the conflict actors are speaking different languages. And when I say languages, I'm not talking in terms of ethnicity. I mean, everybody is explaining the conflict from his own perspective. There's no common understanding concerning that conflict. And I tell you, one of the major problems I think we are still not dealing with is the issue of the environment. In conflict and insecurity, the environment is everything. Government has soldiers, government has police, but there are still unmanned and ungoverned spaces in this country. The forests are still there, nothing is happening there. The villages are still there, nothing is happening there. The conflict that happened in Bokos, where over 150 people were massacred. The soldiers who were guarding that area, the person, the commander supervising the general area that Bokos was under, said, these conflicts are happening in places where we can't reach. There are no vehicles to get there. And if government were dealing with this issue professionally, they will understand that this issue does not only require military approach. It requires a sustainable, preventive, I say preventive, not preventive, preventive strategy, not just a conventional treatment. And what do I mean there? Government must directly interconnect with communities to operate together in concert throughout each state and create a security net like a spider web. Now, this spider web will empower and enable the indigenous and the local people in a comprehensive way, in a more inclusive way, so that the community is included in counter-offensive, counter-surveillance, and counter-mitigating activities. This will mean that the environment will be hardened, the community will be secured, and it will continuously be provided with round-the-clock protection by the local people in their local environment, while the military and the security agencies continue to play their conventional roles of tactical intervention, arrest, and prosecution. If government does not look at these things from this perspective, empowering the local people, I'm not talking about giving them weapons, but organizing them into teams that can secure their own environment, teaching them how to harden their environment. We're here, we can produce designs that will give communities the strategies to harden their environment, believe me, without weapons. Because most of these people come in because they have the space to come in when people are sleeping, take people by surprise. Nobody has been organized to be watchful, and government is careless, and when government goes to sleep, that is the time they strike. So it will require an all-inclusive strategy for us to defeat the insecurity we are passing through.
Okay. Dr. Miwazi Dandara, if you say all-inclusive, there's been a problem of intelligence gathering in Nigeria, and we can't deny that fact. I remember there was a time I had the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communication, Plateau State, Honorable Musa Ashoms, join me on the show. And one of the things he said was that some of the villages that were attacked in Barikin-Ladi and Bokos on Christmas Day, they had prior notice that those attackers were coming. There are reports that they wrote to them that, we're coming to attack your community. And those people came. And the attack was well coordinated, was done simultaneously with perfect precision. The people were killed, butchered in the worst ways possible, and they escaped. We have security chiefs that meet with the president every now and then, every single time. You would expect that, the chief of staff, the chief of army staff, the chief of air staff, the chief of defense should be meeting every time. Is the conversation around a failure of intelligence gathering or intelligence sharing, is that part of one of the issues that we're dealing with that had made it difficult for us to make any headway whatsoever in our fight against insecurity?
Well, when I was trying to define earlier in my last statement, I told you about the issue of counter-surveillance. All of that includes surveillance, intelligence collection, and when the people attacking tell you they are coming, normally they would not come the same time they told you they were coming, because their power is in their element of surprise, and so they organize to surprise you. Now that is information. It is the job of the security agencies and community leaders to take that information and now develop what we call intelligence. So intelligence is not the information we get or the rumors we collect. We use that to generate intelligence. And as we use that to generate intelligence, we are able now to constructively predict and forecast that, okay, we have experienced this for the last 10 years. We know that when the rumor says we're coming tomorrow, they would either come a day earlier or 2 days later when they say we're going to strike, because these things create a pattern. And if they say we're attacking at village B, normally they will displace the village by 2 villages and start from somewhere else before they get here. And so that is what we now call intelligence. We have used the rumors, we have used the information, and we've created a predictable pattern that will allow the community to stay awake in the whole environment so that they are no more taken by surprise. And that is where our failure is. Our failure is in the place where we are not able to synergize properly with ourselves and the community leaders, and the people themselves. I am telling you now that when Amotekun came into place, it was able to create impact at its time because of the awareness and the inclusive nature of the system. But it is still not as more inclusive as I would desire. If we are going to really handle this thing, there has to be a more inclusive approach, that the indigenes of every village in these conflict flashpoints are trained and prepared so that they are able to predict and know and sense when it's like rain coming. You can sense rain coming. Conflict and insecurity, you can sense it coming. Believe me, if you are trained and if your senses are developed, you can know when this thing is lining up to happen, because there are signs that will just fill the air that this thing is about to occur.
So, if you also tell us now that it is the process, or let me put it, it is the processed information that we get that leads
Correct.
to, when we talk about intelligence. Now, we have situations where interviews have been done with members of the village or villages that have been, attacked, and they will say that, we saw strange faces a couple of days back. This person had not been staying in this community. We saw some people moving, their cattle around this and so farm, especially when it comes to the issue of others and farmers clashes and all of that. Let's talk about the locals themselves, because they would always tell you that every security is everybody's responsibility. I don't know how valid that conversation is, but what role do the villagers need to play, or what roles do the locals need to play in terms of giving information out to the people? If you say, see something, say something, what exactly does it mean, and how does it play any major role in all of this?
So let's go beyond if you see something, say something. That's very good. But what if I see it and I say it to you, and you are 100 kilometers away from me and you can't get to me quickly? So I become food to the attacker. And so my argument is, let's train the people in their local area so that when they see something, they can start doing something before security agencies arrive. That is our weak point. Our environment is not hardened enough. We think that hardening the environment is more soldiers, more police, and that's good. That is true. But the truth, the last truth of the matter is, if you will harden the environment, train the people, and harden them so that they are the ones that live there. The missing link is that we are not training the people. We are still believing that our people cannot take care of themselves except there are soldiers and police. And I am against that. The people are the people that can support themselves and secure themselves while the soldiers do their own part.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Menowazi Dandara. Now let's look beyond all of the measures that we've put in place: intelligence gathering, equipping the military, trusting the locals. We'll come back to the conversation of domesticating the police system, the call and response system. The fact that they will tell you that we're waiting for order from above, or so and so person did not respond to emergency reach out. We can't talk about that much later. But one of the things, now I'm going to focus on the areas that have been so badly affected by some of these insecurity issues that we have. You look at the Middle Belt, for instance. You look at Benue. You look at Plateau. You look at a part of Nasarawa. You look at a part of Kaduna. You look at some of these states. One thing you can't take away from them is the fact that there's poverty in those states. You look at how the people survive. You look at their major source of survival, which is mostly farming, and most of them cannot go to their farms again because it's either they've been driven out of their ancestral land or those farms have been taken over by bandits. Dr. Menowazi Dandara, they will tell you that if you have something legitimately doing, the chances that you would go into crime is relatively low compared to someone that wakes up every day and you have nothing to do, you're just waiting there, hanging around. Every little way, every little thing that comes out to you, take it. Is there any major connection between poverty and what we're dealing with right now in this country in terms of insecurity?
Well, conflict professionals are at variance on the connection between poverty and violence, because when the Boko Haram conflict started, some of the people that were arrested during the initial phase of Boko Haram, some of them were medical doctors. And they were in Boko Haram. The one of them that I knew his story very well was employed by Kano State government. And he had a lot of practices all around the town. He was making a lot of money. He was not a poor person. But there are different factors that actually motivate these things. However, it is agreed that joblessness, indoctrination, and fanaticism and poor development seem to encourage wicked ideas. Those wicked ideas are probably produced by people who are related to the people that are poor. And those wicked ideas then give birth to some of the violence that we see. And many people do agree in their professional field that when development goes down, conflict and insecurity rises. And when conflict rises, development goes down. It is called a conflict trap. It is like catch-22. What will you do? If you do development, if you are in conflict, development can happen. And if you are doing development and conflict begins, the development stops. So what do? There are basic issues that are considered as a major source of the problems we might be going through. One of them is greed and grievance. Greed basically is a shorthand used for the argument that says combatants in armed conflict are normally motivated by a desire to better their situation and perform an informal cost-benefit analysis that tells them that the conflict they are going to join will give them greater reward than not joining. And so that greed drives them into making higher income. And so that now would agree with the issue of poverty. And then the issue of grievance means that there are many people who are driven into conflict because of the issues of identity. And these identity conflicts come from ethnicity, religion, and social classism, and all of these things, or the difference in economics. And all of these things build up greed and grievance, and they could also contribute to poverty. But research has found that when combatants discover that their military, the military and financial viability of a conflict are higher, the factors that would move them into developing their own ideas of grievance begin to build up. The other problem is the issue of conspiracy. Of course, you've heard of official collusion and betrayal.
Hello? Oh, okay. I'll try and reconnect with Dr. Miwazi Dandara. I would certainly have to continue the conversation because I was going to ask him. There's been a lot of issues around the biases surrounding some of the conflicts that we have. Dr. Dandara, welcome back.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the network took us out. So maybe you'd like to continue what you were saying.
Yes. So I'll say, like in the Boko situation, what we suffered there was a conspiracy and a betrayal, an official betrayal by those who are supposed to be protecting the community. And those are factors, too, that encourage our insecurity and conflict to continue wickedly the way it is continuing. People that are paid and people that are supported and encouraged to protect communities collude with bandits, collude with terrorists, collude with wicked killers to round up the people and do greater damage. The other thing that conflict professionals agree could be behind our present situation is conflict merchandising. That you understand. Of course, we have all kinds of shades of political opinions and political gangsterism, including political opportunism and opportunism. All of them create all kinds of desire to create insecurity to gain certain advantages. There's another principle that conflict professionals call needs and opportunity that encourages conflict. Research has found that many violence benefits are motivated by people's needs. So you take the Bokos attack, for instance. After they finished their conquest in Bokos, we began to see pictures from Katsina. I'm telling you real story now. Pictures from Katsina where the bandits were celebrating the victories they had in Bokos and Mangu and Riyom and Barkeladi. And they were showing off the booties that they looted from these places. And so they have their personal needs meeting with the needs of their merchants. And so they were displaying the wealth that they just collected from their outreach. Then the issue of opportunity. Opportunity basically supports these bandits' needs in the sense that our communities are constantly soft and unattended and untrained. And because of that, the bandits find an opportunity to do the type of damages that they continue to do. Then finally, there's the issue of the perception of certain relative deprivation, which enables both vertical and horizontal inequalities. You know, there are many of us who have some basic perception of the possibilities that we would have had if we were in certain places. And because of that, we promote violence so as to destabilize those who are already there, to give us the place so we can also step into those places of advantage. And so all of these factors can come together to create what we're seeing today in our wicked conflict and insecurity in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Dandara, now let's talk about some of the biases that have laced these issues of this conflict, maybe the wicked conflict, like you always say. There's been issue of ethnicity. There's been issue of religious, cleansing or tribal cleansing. Those are words that have been within this space. You also talk about social classism. Yeah, you also talk about social classism in your last thoughts now. how much more do you think that these factors are playing out in all of this? I've been privileged to stay on the plateau for a few years. I've also been privileged to stay in Kano for a while. And I figured out that most of the times when the conflict wants to happen in Plateau State, it is mostly about, oh, this route is good for pasteurization. I mean, for feeding your cattle and all of that. There's also been talks of resource control. You look at some of those fields in Barrack Ladi, for instance. There are, loads of deposit of natural resources in those places. So the assumptions, like I said, assumptions that when these people come in and then they send the villagers away and they take over the land and then they begin to tap into the mineral resources in those places. There's also been talk about religious, bringing religious into this. That if you look at some of these attacks, it comes at a period where people are coming together to celebrate maybe Christmas, maybe New Year, maybe Salah. You said people are speaking different languages. What exactly do people gain, Dr. Mswoɪᴜ Dandara, when they walk into a community and they decide to, in quote, wipe away every member of that community? Is this about my religion being more important than yours, my tribe being more important than yours, or I want to have a social advantage ahead of you? What puts all of these thoughts together?
Okay, don't forget about the theory I talked about, needs and opportunity. Our experience on the plateau and even in Kaduna, Benue, and Nasarawa State will show that when these bandits come in, believe me, they are driven a lot of times by the merchandising effect. However, when they come in and they overcome a village, some of the things that we notice they do is that they strip the villages of their roofing sheets. They loot the houses of the things that are contained therein. They take over some of the villages and they rebuild them and they occupy them. They take them over and declare their victory. Because in the old parlance, when you win a community in war, that land becomes yours. And so there is this. Most of these people are coming down from Mali, coming down from Senegal. They come in here and they work in cahoot with the local partners who are of the same ethnic group with them, even though they might be different dialects in that ethnic group. But they work in cahoot with these people. The pressure of the desert coming into West Africa pushes populations from northern West Africa down into these lower southern savanna countries. And Nigeria seems to be the best place. Unfortunately, the Middle Belt seems to be a place where they have found to be most convenient, because the people are open, the people are exposed, the environment is very soft, and there's not much that can be done. And so they take over these villages, and it's first of all, not really that they are struggling for resources, but when you take over a village and you discover that there is tin and columbite, then you start exploiting it, and you discover that you are making more money. That's the opportunity we're talking about. And you now begin to establish yourself, and then you want to get more land. You want to get more space. And so the indigenous people who have lived there for thousands of years now become strangers. They become IDPs. They live in trauma, and they are suffering all kinds of deprivations that hitherto they were strangers to. And so if government is going to address this matter, the places that have been occupied and possessed and the indigenous lands taken over must immediately be addressed.
Okay, Dr. Mswoɪᴜ Dandara, let's talk about justice. For every society to thrive and continue to thrive as such, there needs to be issue of justice. if people have had their lands taken away from them, sent into IDP camps in their own countries, become victims of attacks, and
I'm losing you. I'm losing your clarity.
Is it better now? Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
So let's talk about justice. In every society, a lot of people want to have reasons for them to feel that they are a big part of this society. So there are people that have been sent out of their ancestral land, sent into IDP camps, lost everything they've worked for, lost their lands, lost their properties, even lost their loved ones. A lot of people have been made widows, orphans by children. The government would always come up with, we'll set up and we've seen a lot of commission of inquiries or panel of inquiries. We've seen a lot of investigations that the government would say they want to do. How much more do you think we need to take the issue of justice serious, so that if you've taken my ancestral land from me and you drove me into IDP camp and I stayed there, I've lost the value of my life. The issue of justice, how important is it for us to have a safe and sane society?
Well, if I'm getting you very correctly, the reality for us in places like Jos, where villages have been taken over by bandits, I know that government began to make the move to relocate back these communities, and part of what they have done is to ask everybody to bring in his documentation for the land he owns, and if you do not have documentation, you must also prove from your background how you own the place, because Nigeria is not at war with its ethnicity, and so nobody can come in and win a place because he burnt down the village and drove out everybody and rebuilt it for himself. I know that some time ago, Plateau State government began that process. It will be a good thing if that is continued, so that the military and the police and the civil defense and the other groups work together to make sure that there is revalidation of people's land rights, and those who are found to have illegally occupied places can be helped with different arrangements. If they have their money, they should be helped to buy places and resettled. I'm tired of committees of inquiry. I think the government needs to go into direct action in helping the people. The people are tired of signing memorandums of agreement. They have signed those things now for almost 30 years in Plateau. None of those MOUs have worked for them. And so a working and a listening government will go directly into doing the things that will restore the people back to their places.
Okay, Dr. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, let's quickly put one foot into some political conversation. I've been discussing security since, and I know very well that you've obviously been following the issue or the judgments in the Supreme Court judgment on the Plateau. I'm checking online now, and I'm seeing videos from DB Zang Junction to Mongu to Old Airport roundabout. The land is green. That is the trending hashtag in respect to the Supreme Court, striking out the judgment of the appeal court and upholding the election of the PDP-led governor. That's His Excellency Governor Caleb Manasseh Mufwang. Since he became governor of Plateau State, there's been a lot of issues. In fact, when he became governor, when he got sworn in on the 29th of May, I think on the 3rd or 5th of June, there was 24 hours curfew declared in Mongu, his own local government, because of issues of killings and all of that. It's been from one issue to the other. The 25th December massacre in Barikin-Ladi and the Bokos. Now that the distraction of the election is gone, what should be the priority of the Plateau State governor? as it finally settles in, I mean, we all know that beyond the Supreme Court, nothing else. What should be his priority right now?
Well, let me start by saying Plateau people are very grateful to God for delivering us from the possible political conflict that would have ensued if the Supreme Court had gone the other way, because Plateau people actually voted for PDP. And I also want to appreciate the Supreme Court for doing what was right. The truth was upheld, and Governor Mutfwang was elected on the platform of PDP, and PDP deserves to give the Plateau people what Plateau people expect of it. Yeah, there's a lot of celebration in town and around the local government. People are happy. I wish that the Supreme Court began to do this long ago. I think they would have had a better name in the country. For me, they have kind of restored my confidence back to the judiciary to some extent, even though I have my fight with the judiciary in some other cases. But in this case, I feel like, okay, maybe the judiciary can be awake sometime. And so we celebrate with Caleb Mutfwang and PDP in Plateau, and of course the Supreme Court for doing what is right. Now, coming down to what the governor should do, the first thing that I would like the governor to give attention to is security. I talked with him just after his election when he was sworn in as governor, and I told him that security for Plateau State must go beyond military activities, go beyond police activity, go beyond security agency activities. And I've told him that we need to tow a different strategy if we're going to give peace to Plateau. It is possible to create peace for Plateau, but we must create a spider web-like security arrangement for Plateau. So the governor will need to give attention to developing the right strategy. It is not the issue of getting more soldiers. It is the issue of developing capacity in the local people to harden their environment so that nobody penetrates it and go away freely. That secondly, the issue of those in IDP camps must be addressed quickly, which he had already begun to look at, which will mean that he will need to restore those who have been displaced back to their villages, using appropriate level of diplomacy and appropriate level of coercion. Both of them must go together. Where you do diplomacy and diplomacy is becoming weak, you must employ some level of kinetic energy to make sure that diplomacy has wings to fly. And so people should be restored back to their villages. And the issue of poverty in the state will need to be addressed beyond giving handouts. I hate the issue of politicians telling us that they are giving us dividends of democracy. We didn't elect anybody for dividend of democracy. We elected them so that we will prosper. And it is the duty of government to, once they have looked at the issue of security, look at the issue of poverty eradication. I like the Tinubu retagging the name of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs to Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Poverty what?
Alleviation.
To poverty alleviation. I would have liked it to be poverty eradication. But whatever it is, that needs to be looked at properly. We need to empower our farmers, whether it is in the area of making sure that we create security for them to go back to their farms, to the area of making sure they have improved seedlings, to the area of making sure they have enough fertilizer at an affordable price, to the area of making sure that justice is given to people at the right time and in a timely manner and at the cost that they can afford. Because if I'm back to my farm and I'm molested and I run to justice, justice should be able to immediately correct the situation for me, and it shouldn't make it too expensive for me to do so that I can continue farming. You see, the situation, this year is the first time food in Nigeria has not gone down during the time of harvest. We have just made harvest, but the prices of food continue to skyrocket. Why? Because our food has been looted, because farmers were not able to go to the farm and do their harvest in some cases. So some of those harvests have perished, because some of us have lost our properties and we are having to make up. And the only way to make up is to make sure that our food makes up for us. And so looking at the area of alleviating the problems that the farmers would encounter during the process of the year or the next 3 years as Caleb Mutfwang carries on with his government will be a very important thing. The other thing will be communication. Government will need to improve roads into the rural areas so that when insecurity is happening, soldiers will not be complaining about their inability to access those areas because there are no roads. So government will need to look at those, the possibility, even if it means just creating access without blacktopping them. And then the issue of creating, getting children back to school, especially in the areas where these conflicts have really devastated. Most of those children are out of school. The government will need to look actively at those areas and make sure that children are called back to school, or schools created in the environments where their IDP situations are, that they might go back to whatever location of classes they were when the conflict took them off. Okay.
Dr. Mewazi Dandara, I can't just thank you enough for finding time to be with us on the show today. Dr. Dandara holds a PhD in conflict analysis with specialization in security and intelligence design, and is also an incisive consultant in conflict, security, and intelligence with the Justice and Human Security Initiative in the United States. He's done a lot of research on conflict, security, counterterrorism, intelligence, additional concentration in strategic peace building, restorative justice, and conflict-sensitive development. Dr. Mewazi Dandara, thank you so much for being with us on the show today. Like I said, he's also a reverend father. He's a reverend, I beg your pardon, but hey, I can still say I'm putting the father to us because he's actually a spiritual father to a whole lot of us. Thank you for finding time to put some of this conversation out there for us today. And I hope that I would always reach out, and then you would always be available to talk to us and, of course, speak truth to power like you always do.
Nice. Good. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to work with you on Mainland FM and also to reach our listeners.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dandara. Have a very good evening.
Thank you. God bless.
Okay. It's 5 minutes to my first break. Yes, in 5 minutes time I would certainly take my first break, take the headline news, also pay some bills, and I would come back. I'm seeing your messages on Facebook. Akonji Benjamin Ola Oshebikola. I'm seeing your messages on Facebook. We would certainly read them. Would also open the phone line for you to talk to us. That was Dr. Mewazi Dandara, PhD holder, security strategist, and a very, very specialist in counter-terrorism. And we just looked at some of these issues. And I mean, you look at how much money the government had invested, because I feel whatever efforts you put in place to restore security or to maintain security is a huge investment. And Dr. Mewazi Dandara said that we should stop asking for dividends of democracy, that we didn't vote the politicians for dividends of democracy. Rather, we voted them for us to prosper, because when the government put the right policies in place and when the government chooses to do the right thing, and throw away every form of bias that could, in a way, becloud their sense of judgment or decision making, then the people would prosper. There will be policies that will be people friendly, and there will be policies that would, make the country safe. There will be policies that will send the right signal to anyone that's not seeing the intention of going into crime. Well, I've always believed that this country will be safe. I've always believed that this country will prosper, and that was exactly one of the things that my guest just affirmed for us on the show today. Thank you very much, Dr. Dandara, for being with us on the show. Well, it's Friday, so we'll certainly open the phone lines. Like I made the announcement sometime last week that I would not have a regular open mic on Fridays again, so it becomes engaging. I would certainly have guests come over, but would always still create that space where you get to talk. And so 0913-600-0410. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM, on X, formerly Twitter, it is mainland983, on Instagram and YouTube, it is mainland98.3 FM. Follow us, let us build a very large social media family, and of course we'll set the conversation going from there. So whatever program you must have missed, I will certainly catch up on our social media platforms. Let me talk to this caller, then we'll certainly pay the bills. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Okay, you have a Pagwadi. You're calling from Songo.
Chief, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, I've listened to you attentively and the guests, and I'm not surprised about all the narratives. What we want is solution. And I've been saying the solution is not far-fetched. People in government know the solution to this problem. And I've been saying it. It's ridiculous when the military in Plateau said they couldn't get to Boko's area because of terrain. What is the military made for? Can't they have super bike? And it's ridiculous. There's nowhere you cannot read with super bike. If these people are going there with their Okada, you can get there with super bike, if with ordinary bike. So they didn't do that. So, and this thing has been happening in Plateau from the time of Obasanjo to cause of Maipa. They'll be killing there, and the military have been sent there. So the first, just to summarize, the first solution I keep saying is that we have to change the security architecture and military architecture. For instance, all the GOCs, all the military divisional headquarters should be removed from state capital immediately to the remote places, the rural areas that are identified as flashpoints across the state, permanently relocated there. Similarly, all the posting will go to police.
Chief,
88% of police.
I would have to take you off now.
State capital and local government.
Please, apologies.
Police station in rural areas.
Apologies, Chief. I would like to take you off now because I'm really due for the next break. And then when we come back on the turn of 5 o'clock, we'll pick more calls, we'll read more messages, and then we'll call it a day on the show. Well, thank you. Listen to the news, the headline news rather, at 5 o'clock, and then we'll pay the bills, and then the show would return.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
So, babes, don't you think the radio is so boring these days?
Well, it depends on what you need. I just discovered a new sound.
It's my mother. Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland FM. My name is Sage Babalola. Supreme Court reverses sack of Governor Yusuf, affirms his election. Tinubu approves 2024 intervention fund for public tertiary institution. Federal government approves new maize seed varieties to enhance agricultural productivity. On the foreign scene, chaos in Kinshasa as river rises to near record level in DR Congo flood. Houthi vow retaliation after US and UK strike 16 sites in Yemen. In sport, Iɗeya blasts Pesero for naming 25 players in Super Eagles squad in AFCON 2023. That is the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
Hey there, tech enthusiasts! Get ready to ignite your world with the all-new Tecno Spark 20.
That's right! The Spark 20 with its stunning display and powerful features is here to redefine your smartphone experience.
We've also partnered with Google and MTN to bring you even more. With the Spark 20, Google apps and loads of free MTN data, your digital life just got smarter and more connected.
Grab your Tecno Spark 20 today and step into a world where style meets technology.
Tecno, stop at nothing.
Official partner of the Africa Cup of Nations 2023.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
The Broadcast Art Institute Supplementary Admissions 2023-2024. Few vacancies exist in the Department of Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology for admission in the 2023-2024 session. If you scored 100 and above in the 2023-2024 UTME, together with 5 relevant credits, but have not gained admission, you can change over to the Broadcast Art Institute Lagos for National Diploma in Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology. The Broadcast Art Institute is accredited by the National Board for Technical Education (NBTE) to offer national diploma programs in broadcast journalism and multimedia technology. You can visit our campus at number 38 Odofi Street, Igbogbo, Ikorodu, Lagos, or call the following numbers: 0806 149 9992 or 0703 713 1166 or 0816 587 1415.
Hey there, tech enthusiasts! Get ready to ignite your world with the all-new Tecno Spark 20.
That's right! The Spark 20 with its stunning display and powerful features is here to redefine your smartphone experience.
We've also partnered with Google and MTN to bring you even more. With the Spark 20, Google apps and loads of free MTN data, your digital life just got smarter and more connected.
Grab your Tecno Spark 20 today and step into a world where style meets technology.
Tecno, stop at nothing.
Official partner of the Africa Cup of Nations 2023.
Are you seeking admission into a tertiary institution in Nigeria? Here is a big opportunity for you. The 2022-2023 admission into Eko City Polytechnic is now open. Available courses are Computer Science, Theatre and Media Art, Mass Communication, Science Laboratory Technology, Electronics Engineering, Accounting, Banking Operations, Business Administration, Multimedia Technology. Qualified students should have scored 100 and above in the last JAMB exam. Facilities at Eko City Polytechnic include well-equipped studio and laboratories, modern classrooms, innovative workshop, recreation space, and fully functional hostels. Our lecturers and tutors combine both academic and industry experience. Full-time and part-time admission forms are available for the 2022-2023 academic session at the campus, Eko City Polytechnic, Plot 100, Alhaji Onilewura Street, Ikotun Egbe, Lagos State. Eko City Polytechnic is approved by JAMB, NBTE, and the Federal Ministry of Education. For more information, please call Moses 091 62 54 0610, Wale 091 62 92 7079, Praise 091 62 69 9996, Adelanwa 081 26 580784, or visit our website www.ecocity.edu.ng. Eko City Polytechnic, building industry-ready professionals.
Hey there, tech enthusiasts! Get ready to ignite your world with the all-new Tecno Spark 20.
That's right, the Spark 20 with its stunning display and powerful features is here to redefine your smartphone experience.
We've also partnered with Google and MTN to bring you even more. With the Spark 20, Google apps and loads of free MTN data, your digital life just got smarter and more connected.
Grab your Tecno Spark 20 today and step into a world where style meets technology.
Tecno, stop at nothing.
Official partner of the Africa Cup of Nations 2023.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Okay, welcome back to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. The first part of the show, I had Dr. Miwazi Dandara join me on the program. He's a security expert, more focused on counter-terrorism, intelligence gathering, fixing the basic things that we get to talk about when we raise issues of insecurity in Nigeria and of course around the world. And we talked about some of these challenges, and I think this conversation would never end until we make this country as safe as possible, until irrespective of where you are across the country, you can do your businesses, you can go to your farms, you can do your sales, you can travel at night, you can feel safe. And I think until that time, we would constantly hold the government accountable, especially where we feel that they failed in their responsibility of protecting the lives and the properties of the people that voted them into office, which is a key part of every state, irrespective of the system of government they practice, whether it's the military, is the monarchical, it is a democracy, whatever form of government is being practiced. The people must feel secure. The people must feel safe. They must be able to, move around carry their lives around without any fear of being attacked, being molested, being robbed, being killed, whatever it is. And so we always ask these questions. If the burden of responsibility of securing the people is too much for the government, then you walk away, irrespective of whatever development you think you want to bring into that society. You want to be the best of schools, the finest of housing, the good roads, big infrastructures, medical facilities. If that society is not safe, then none of those things that you are building would certainly not have people utilizing them. So thank you, Dr. Dandara, for joining us on the show via phone. So it's time for you to join the conversation on Facebook. Akonji Benjamin Tade says, the only way to stop insecurity in Nigeria is to establish the state police. This single policing that we're operating is not helping us. About the Supreme Court judgment today, this is the first time that they've done the right thing. Oh, wow. Thank you, Akonji Benjamin, on Facebook. Ola Oshibikola, I also got a message. Thank you very much. 091-3600-0410 for calls. 091-3600-0430 for text messages and WhatsApp chat. So let me have your opinion about what my guest said on the other side of the show. And then let me also have your thoughts about the Supreme Court judgments delivered today across the 6 states. Talk to us, 091-3600-0410. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us today. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello, I can hear you. Good evening.
I can hear you as well. Your name and where you calling from?
Collins from Shomolu.
Okay, Mr. Collins. Yes, I can. Okay. Try and call us back. Mr. Collins from Shomolu, 091-3600-0410. And in case you're trying to reach us via phone and then you're struggling with that, you can drop your messages or you go on our social media platforms and try to drop your comments on our post 091-3600-0410. Go to facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM and join the conversation. I will read your messages there. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay. I think we need to find a way to get this sorted as quick as possible. Okay. I was talking about the Supreme Court judgment today in Lagos, in Kano, in Plateau State, also in Ebonyi. Well, I think it's time for the government to sit up and start getting jobs done. Now that there's nowhere else they're taking you to, the Supreme Court is the apex court of the land, and whatever judgment it gives is valid and it's final. Okay. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, my number went off the other time when I was talking.
Okay.
What I was trying to tell you is that the people we put in power, they know the solution to our problem. But just like the analyst said, some people are failing in our crisis. So, to that extent, I have always said that most of our regional problem we have in security is in the rural area of the country. Hello, am I right?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, I said, tell me, what are we doing with military in Lagos, for instance, the state capital, Bonny Camp, Dodon Barrow, go to Ibadan, you go to at this Basharon, that's where you have the headquarters. You see all these deals. This will be taken to the remote part of every state. We don't need them. These things have been located in these places by the colonial masters, and we don't need them there anymore. Where we need this security are in the rural areas, which has been taken over by these criminals. And these people know the right thing to do, but they will not do. Come to the Nigeria police. If you see Nigeria police as a whole, most of their personnel, when you post them from the headquarters, they post them to state, and the farthest place they want to go and serve is in the local government.
Okay, I'll try and call us back if you're still lucky. 091-3600-0410. It seems a lot of us have been really unlucky with the network today, but we'll keep going. We'll try our best to still get it fixed. On Facebook, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Michael says, the news of the banker that committed suicide is pathetic. Do you know the number of people that have done same or that have been rescued, especially on top of the third Milan Bridge in the last 8 years? Have you noticed that under this present administration, so many people have turned to corporate beggars on the road, a country endowed with abundant mineral resources, and the citizens would not be able to afford even 2 square meals? Do you know that the common bread is no go area again? Nigerians are dying of hunger on a daily basis. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should introduce food price control after ensuring that these food items are available in surplus. Also, on the lawyer that was brutalized by the police in just one of the thousands that keeps going on every day, the Inspector General Police should look into this issue critically. God bless Nigeria. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, God bless you as well. Back to the phone lines. I hope we're lucky this time around. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. I'm Austin calling from Ojo.
Okay, Mr. Austin, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ojo.
From Ojo. Okay, you're welcome to the show.
Yes, your guest really spoke well. At least he has educated me wide. I want to appreciate him. Hello?
I'm with you.
Yes, so, personally, I don't believe in, when there is a coalition of parties coming together to rescue power. I don't really believe APC, PDP, Labour Party coming together as a party, other PDP or Labour Party, other party to come together to rescue power from APC. I don't really believe that. Do you know why? The thing is that if INEC chairman, whoever is INEC chairman, knows what to do, is we change our constitution and we elect all those parastatals, we elect them without the president appointing them. I think that will be the beginning of our success as a country. The INEC chairman is being elected. He will not be appointed by president. The EFCC chairman, all the parastatals in Nigeria, if they are being elected, not being chosen, I think we will really do well. But because most times when the people we are being chosen, they will want to dance to the party of the people that choose them. And I just pray that the security issue, most especially in Plateau and Borno State, the government should look into it. Because that place is really taking air out of people's lives. Okay, thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins, for joining the show. 091-3600-0410. Imagine when we have to elect the ministers and the directors of agencies, and then we're talking about hundreds of agencies, and then we have to elect all of these people. I think it's not really about the process by which they come out or they come to or they get on board. I think it's about the mindset they have going into these responsibilities. The ones we've elected, we've had issues with, conversation around performance and their ability to deliver on their promises. So what's the assurance that if we elect the INEC chairperson or if you elect, for instance, the ministers, we still not have issues to deal with? I think it's how people perceive a public service. It's supposed to be a space where you leave your mark and then people remember you for the very good reasons. It's an opportunity to serve. It doesn't particularly mean you're the best amongst everyone available. It's just an opportunity. And with that mindset, things would certainly get better. Hello, good evening.
Very good evening to you, Opeyemi.
Prince Wise.
I've been trying since you yesterday. No way.
Sorry.
3-4 years, I swear. Wow. You see, when you talk of security, thinking there every 6 months, that statement be different for the team. But the problem is that the French is without the government then. But the problem setting over the matter time around. If we are talking about and the Southwest here, that's why we commend the late governor of Ondo State. The man championed and performed brilliantly. These governors, if you have no state police, why can't you set up a Amadeco type of vigilante? Equip them with this walkie-talkie. If anything about to happen, yes, with the military, with the police, I think all this will get better. Nigeria police can never police every hamlet, every village. So this is vigilante. You can have it in every village, every town.
Thank you, Prince Wise.
So for me, let me round up.
Please.
Finally, the last statement of your guest, I disagree with him. It is nice. It happened with the Supreme Court judge. So the one that is against the whole foreign is not agreeing with them. So today, now I agree with them. That's not supposed to be so. Anything comes out from Supreme Court, whether it's fair for you or it is not fair for you, you have to take it.
Thank you.
I'm thanking the Supreme Court for giving us to say judgment the way it goes. Good evening to you, my dear.
Thank you very much, Prince Wise. A lot said in that. And I think the conversation around state policing would start getting really loud now. A lot of people are beginning to see that the call and response time is not particularly helping us in emergency situations during some of these attacks in these villages. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show,
my name is Ambrose.
Pastor Ambrose.
How are you?
I'm very well. Please put up the volume on your radio set, or you turning off completely?
I actually did not listen to much of your guests, but I know you are talking about insecurity. Okay. Do you know that part of the problem of insecurity is unemployment? Youth graduate, no job. Okay, do you also know 419 is insecurity? It is insecurity. People graduate now, they want to work in bank, they are on contract. I know so many people here who are graduates, whose salary is not even up to 80,000, and they have 3-4 children. So, I'm not giving an excuse for
crime,
insecurity, but for crime. But the devil's mind, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And then you have religion fanaticism. And then you have illiteracy. If we are not able to tackle all of these things and you say security, what can the security do? They can only do as much as they can. Even the Agberos in Lagos, we are not secured with them. Because when it is night time, they will go and they will carry machete and all of that. And they start attacking people in their cars. So we are only looking at the killing, because it is massive in the north, particularly Plateau and Kaduna. But what about the average Nigerian on Lagos Street? If you are coming from your house now at 12 midnight, you are afraid. Even where I stay here, during December, they put on the road. If you don't cooperate with them, they target you. So, government should create employment. Government should give us light. I don't know whether you are experiencing it. We don't used to have light again, Light now is once in a week. As I'm talking to you, we don't have water. All my generators are spoiled because I have overworked them. So when you talk of insecurity, you just police. Even the police themselves, they are problems. Because some of them have been caught to be robbers. When you are not comfortable and you have to go to school, anything is right. So for me, I want government, we have enough resources, I keep on saying it. Government should please, they should please put an end to embezzlement. Let them start being transparent. The election in Kano, Plateau, and all of that, thank God it has gone like you said. They should come and do work. People are tired. People are hungry. People are sick. People are dropping out of schools. Good evening, Okwe.
Thank you very much. Pastor Ambrose, Dayo Dada on Facebook says, what happened to Olubunmi Ojo and Better I Do? It's unfortunate. It's to tell you that when you walk with gang of thieves, you'll be labeled also as a thief when caught. They are now the scapegoats. That is why, that's why we love Peter Obi and Atiku, and they don't want us associate with these governments and their dubious ways of doing things. Okay, a lot's dead. Dayo Dada, thank you very much on Facebook. Let me squeeze in this last call before we leave. Okay, unfortunately I got too late. Okay, hello, good evening.
Okay.
Hello.
Good evening.
You're welcome, Don Peters.
Thank you. My name is Don Peters.
You're welcome.
Okay. When men with deep understanding speak, I listen. I can only thank Pastor Ambrose for his deep understanding of Nigerian system. Okay? I want to challenge you right now. Show me one family where there is justice and there is crisis there. Show me one local government where there is justice and there is crisis there. Show me one state where there is justice and there is crisis there. Okay, what am I trying to say? Immediately there is justice in the land. We don't need all this security this, security that. Peace is automatic. Give Nigerian people light. Give them good infrastructure. Let there be justice in the land. What I mean by justice is, let there be food, let there be enabling environment. Okay, on Sunday last month. Is it last month? Yeah, last Sunday, this January, I was driving from Lekki down to my base in Festac, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. My windscreen got broken in Orile, that Dᴏɪᴛ bus stop, by hoodlums. What is my offense? My car is neat, and I wind up, it's tinted. Somebody will blame me right now that I'm driving in the street of Lagos. But it was on a broad daylight afternoon like this on Sunday. I was just driving with my friend. They just corner me, 8 of them in number, and I tried to navigate my way, and my windscreen got broken. Nigerians right now, we began to blame you, those who are supporting the government. Say, why are you driving a neat car, or why are you driving on the road? It's my right. Yes, it's funny. It's just funny, the kind of things we see in this country.
Thank you.
It's just kind of funny.
Thank you very much, Don Peter.
Okay, let's get something straight, please. Let the government provide justice in this land by providing job for people. Let people go to work. Immediately people go to work, everything will be fine. Thank you. And thank you for Pastor Ambrose for speaking truth to power.
Thank you very much. And also thank you for joining us on the show. And I want to appreciate everyone that have been a part of the package all through the week, from Monday, Tuesday, and then for the people that joined Sage Babalola on Wednesday. I had Mr. Miwa DME, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, join me yesterday. And today, it was a privilege for me to host Dr. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Msoɪᴟ, and of course that's going to be about the size of the package today. God Spread Our Lives. We'll come back on Monday by 4 p.m. to also look at other issues, children that affect us as a nation. My name is Ōpeyemi Akinade. By 5:30 the full bulletin would come through. By 6 o'clock it's going to be the Friday edition of Sport Cruise on Milan 98.3 FM. Just a few days to the Super Eagles of Nigeria's opening game at the African Cup of Nations against Equatorial Guinea. One of our strikers again has been ruled out of the tournament. Issues left, right, and center. But hey, I would always tell you the Super Eagles of Nigeria will win in the African Cup of Nations. Let's do that by 6 o'clock. And of course, you know what happens on Fridays. It's Ari Unlimited with Kokore Day from 8 p.m. down to 12 midnight. So much to set your Friday on a good mood. Stay out of trouble, and remember, when you see something, you say something. Have a very beautiful weekend. I'll be back on Monday.